Hey, gorgeous souls. This is Breaking the Cage, Astrology TV, and I am LSF, or Bells, or as Matt likes to call me, I'm the Shaman. And this is another pre-recorded session that I'm doing, more or less. Sorry, I had something that came up, so I pre-recorded it for you all because I don't want to miss anything. This is another powerful week, guys. You've got the full moon coming in next week. I think it's on Monday next week. So this is like a preset to that full moon energy. And you know, with the full moons, that means everything. I mean, like everything is coming to light. Not to mention, you've got the sun coming out of Scorpio, going into Sag. So happy birthday, Sages. Happy birthday for those of you at the end of Scorpio. And you also have, at the end of the week, you have Mars coming out of Scorpio and going into Sag. So there are some shifting going on. Spirit is reminding me right off the bat that with what you're going to be undergoing this week emotionally, within the body as well, you're going to see a lot of questioning to your sacral chakra on, is your sacral chakra, activated? Is it undergoing any issues that are making it work from a lower vibrational standpoint, like helplessness, rejection, being afraid, relationship grief? The sacral chakra is connected. It's kind of in the center of the body. I mean, the heart is what we consider to be the center, but when you're looking at the whole body from those lower chakras of consciencelessness, that sacral chakra really has a lot to do with just how in your power are you, and where are you questioning your power, where do you have doubt over your power, and where are you not quite able to step into it. Because, sorry, my cat's walking through here. What Spirit started off with as soon as I was getting ready to come in to do it is they said the question for the week is, are you capable of breaking the machine? Are you capable of breaking the mind patterns? And then they related it to the fact of frustration and powerlessness that people feel within the sacral chakra, which then goes to the rest of the chakras in general. There's a lot going on with the spinal cord this week. So this has a lot to do with the energies you're going to be feeling and what is being brought to light as we come into that full moon energy. I believe the full moon's in Gemini, which means everything's getting up close and personal. It is the communication system in a form for you, but this also has a lot to do with your breathing. And I'm going to get into the blueprint here in a second. But like I said, this has to do with, can you break the program? Can you break your program of lower vibrational hive mind actions, and where it's been so your normal that you don't even realize it's part of your normal that backs up your insecurities, and where it's keeping you from moving forward. We're wanting to address these situations because that's going to be being brought to our attention about our personal selves, so that we can, override the system, more or less, as we're starting to move forward. Now, not too much has changed in the blueprint itself as we're going through this week, but some has. You still have Chiron, which is still sitting on that frontal lobe, which is a lot to do with how we see and we address our actions according to what we see, especially when it's unhappy things that are traumatizing or upsetting to us, and how our mind is choosing to act with these things that are happening, whether it's in a healthy way or an unhealthy way. And then with the actions, it gets sent down into more or less the spinal cord and into the occipital lobe, which is the zeal point. So your frontal lobe is dealing with how you are emotionally seeing and dealing with the things that are happening in your life, especially when it deals with trauma, because that's how you're seeing when it's a lower vibration or a higher vibration, how it's affecting you individually, more or less. Your north node is sitting literally on the, it's going through the muscles of the cheeks and the muscles of the eyes, how and what the eyes see. Now, and it's been a long time thing that, you know, they say heavier eyes and burning eyes and gritty eyes have everything to do with, you know, your emotions, with anger, with grief, with how you're processing what you are seeing and viewing and bringing into your body. So this has to do with this week in general, guys. You need to remember to give yourself some pampering. And I don't mean pampering in the way of just go take a bath and get some alone time. Yes, sure, I mean that. But what I mean is, this is a week of reminding yourself that you are worth it, that you are worthy, that you are capable, that you are loved, and giving yourself some of that pat on the back. It is okay, and break away from the things that are, you know, pulling that lower vibration out of you and down and keeping you in that kind of mindset. This is a time of shying away from that, not in the way of not wanting to address the problems, but by giving yourself the love you need, the respect you need, the time you need. The body needs that. And this has a lot to do with if you're able to break away and be capable of breaking the program for that higher vibration. Okay, I was explaining that because the North Node, like I said, is on the cheeks and the eyes, the muscles. Well, the cheeks have everything to do with how your face is moving, how you're breathing, how you're speaking, opening up more airway for the nose for oxygen, and then the eyes themselves and what they are viewing and bringing into you. When we come into Jupiter, Jupiter is literally sitting on the spinal nerves, and Uranus is still on the occipital bone. So this is the spinal nerves, Jupiter, your abundance, the highest vibrational connection of abundance and manifestation and magnet energy, whether it's good or bad, and energy. It's sitting on the spinal nerves. So it's going directly into what it is you're viewing in that frontal lobe, your actions and your thinking here, connecting to that spinal nerve, going up and down the spinal cord, connecting it to any and all chakras, including the lower chakras of consciousness. Like I said, getting really into some ego depth and shadow depth here. Not just your upper chakras. That's connecting it to everything. And Jupiter's still in retrograde. So it is still looking at the magnitude of where you're avoiding stuff, of the ego areas of where you're not fully choosing to be conscious. You're choosing consciencelessness in some areas versus really, I have to bring this into my attention and do work here. And with Uranus, Uranus is your independence, your individuality, uniqueness, freedom, sitting right here in the throat area, even though it's on the back, it's on the occipital lobe. And I can't say enough. That is your connection to the higher vibration or the lower vibration. And what you're sending up and down through that as a transfer of energy through your body of higher or lower vibrations is getting into that spinal nerve and going into every single chakra. This is why Spirit was saying solar plexus. All chakras are being altered, upgraded, or downgraded, especially during this week. And you don't want to tap into the things that are going to pull you away from what you're after. So this is why I'm saying shy away from it. If it does not serve you, don't waste your time and energy getting in that blame game energy, in that frustration energy, in that anger or rage or repressed energy. Be aware of what your soul and your ego are showing you so that you can make changes as needed and step into your now and reclaim your power. But don't allow it to dictate your energy. You are responsible for your energy. And like I said, that occipital lobe is the higher vibration or the lower vibration. It opens up the psychic attacks and its ability by connecting and identifying with those lower vibrations. So this isn't something you want to be in a comfy spot with, but you do want to make sure you're learning the lesson here. Now we have Vista, which are the keys. It's the fire of the soul in a form. But Vista in astrology is also the keys to opening the doors. This has to do with your upgrading in your vibrational, changing that density from a lower vibration to a higher vibration within the body. And Vista is literally on the rib cage. Now, we've been speaking for the last couple months about how the rib cage isn't just about breathing. I'm not sure if it's dealing with Vista in Cancer directly. Spirit's interrupting me. I don't know if it's dealing with Vista in Cancer directly, the keys to making some of these changes, but they are saying it's also masculine in energy that we're dealing with here, very much in our logical, our practical, our material mind, our anger and our fight, our convincer side, right masculine brain energy. But a lot of this is also relating with a masculine energy, a father energy, or an important male energy within our lives, and what has us make the changes or the decisions that we are making according to that male figure or that father or masculine energy. But this has everything to do with our way that we are processing our logical, our practical, our material energy. I'm giving it to you as they are giving it to me. So I'm not 100% sure that that's dealing with the Vista in general, but it may also be dealing with the breathing in general and what we're connecting our energy to or attaching ourselves to as we're feeling these things this week. Because like I said, Vista is on the rib cage, which is also what I've been saying. They've been talking about connecting with more or less our OC and our carbon monoxide within our body and our OC levels. And that has a lot to do with how we're breathing it in, how we're transmutating it within our body, and if we are having a healthy oxygen versus carbon monoxide balance. And that comes down to OC poisoning and stuff. And this brings in what you're breathing in. Remember, Spirit keeps reminding us we are a bunch of mouth breathers. We have got to stop breathing in through our mouth. We have to start learning to breathe in through our nose more. In and out through our nose. That breaks up a lot of the toxic energies that we are breathing in, the materials that we are breathing in that are unhealthy, and keeping us in more of a lower vibrational, dense energy in the physical body. So this has to do with the way that the body is actually breathing, how it is actually doing its job. And Vista is in Cancer, literally on the rib cage, and that's what opens up and is able to allow that oxygen to do its job properly, if you're getting enough oxygen. So this has a lot to do with the protecting of the heart, the oxygen that's being breathed into the heart, making sure that you are breathing in through your nose more for healthy energy versus being the mouth breathers and just breathing in everything that's toxic along with the fact they were giving us, you're mixing it in with your logical, your practical, your material, masculine energy, and convincer side, fight and anger side, relating to a male of some form, male issues of some form. But like I said, this has a lot to do with the changes that the body is undergoing as it's trying to upgrade and get you out of that hive mind thinking, out of that old-fashioned program that you were taught how to think and what to think and what's acceptable and what's not, and breaking these patterns. So this has a lot to do with your breathing pattern itself right now and how we're going to change that. Now, let me go back just a second because I forgot. Jupiter, like I said, is on the spinal nerves, but it's also sitting this week. There's a lot of fixed stars this week. It is sitting with a fixed star. I'm not bothering to name the fixed stars because some of them I can't even name. But it's bringing energies of Saturn with Jupiter. Then you have Uranus, which is on the occipital lobe. Now remember, that was speaking about your structure, your nerves in the spinal cord itself. Jupiter was, with it being in retrograde. Now you have Uranus on the occipital lobe itself, the zeal point, which is also in retrograde. And it is sitting on a fixed star at the same time, also with the energy of Saturn. Now, think about that. This is telling you that these two energies are not just its typical Uranus energy or its typical Jupiter energy, but it's in areas that are very much connected with all chakras, all lifelines, all healthy balance or unhealthy balance, and how it is going and connecting with the body itself. And they are sitting on an additional fixed star with Saturn energy. This is talking about how important, right off the bat, it is to be healthy in your Saturn energy. Then it's connecting with that Jupiter or that Uranus's energy. So you're talking about redirecting rules, walls, boundaries for that sacral chakra, no, for that solar plexus to come into its power and more or less open you up for a higher vibration in that breathing and everything, keeping it moving and circulating in a healthy way, making you less dense. But all of this has to do with, can you set those boundaries, rules, walls, boundaries, and maneuver that situation a little bit better and a little bit differently from how you were always taught, what you're comfortable with. Getting out of that, stepping into some of that insecurity because you're overcoming it, but giving yourself the acceptance and the help that you truly need by tapping into what you truly need. Then you go into that Cancer energy, that Cancer energy where Vista is on the ribs, and it is also sitting with fixed star that's carrying energies of Mercury and Venus. So this is the communication that you are bringing into the oxygen and the breathing of the body, the circulation, the communication and the sensitivity going with the keys to changing. Can you control your emotional thoughts? Can you understand what your emotional thoughts are doing and why they are acting that way versus how it is serving you and how it is not? True communication with you, your ego, and your soul, and ciphering the difference, all in that breathing process. This again is the keys in the soul fire here, and tapping into wanting to be in the higher vibration or the lower vibration according to where you can take yourself, being in power of your thinking and your actual self. Slow down this week. Faster is not better this week. Slow down, open your eyes, feel the facts, and then process them and then move forward. Then you have Virgo, which has Lilith in it, sitting on the intestines again and the colon. Juno, which is sitting on the liver. As you come into Libra, you have Venus, which is on the renal system itself. Then the South Node is on the kidneys, but it's on another fixed star of Saturn and Jupiter. So that is definitely the abundance of where you're comfortable and the rules, walls, and boundaries that you have or have not shifted into your comfortability of not actually moving forward. South Node is everything you're good at, but it doesn't serve you anymore in the relationship zone. So this is going to have a lot of relationship grief, relationship details that you're working through about how and what kind of relationships you accept and that you continue to have as we move forward this week. In the physical body, what that does to the chakras and the physical body versus in our lives and how we're creating our lives. Then you have that Scorpio energy where the sun and Mars is moving out. The sun is going to move out very early within the week. Mars is going to move out near the end of the week. And you still have Ceres, and now you also have Pallas here. Athena, the warrior goddess, with strategic thinking. This is typically root chakra and somewhat of solar plexus because it's sexual organs. This is the way we normally think of Scorpio. But the way that Scorpio is in the medical part of our body, it's funny, it bounces around in these numbers. It bounces around a lot in the reproductive energies and the nose. And the nose has everything to do with that circulation, that breathing in the higher vibration, or mouth breathing in the lower vibration. And what are you circulating? So you have a lot of this energy this week between Ceres, which is karma, the threefold, nurturing or neglecting, and the boundaries of the relationships themselves in a form. What are the relationships connected to and responsible for? And the boundaries that go with that. This is bringing in the circulation and rebirth of both that root and sacral chakra versus that throat chakra and what you're breathing in. See, like I said, this is going to all over the chakras this week. And the nasal energy has everything to do with it, even though this is coming all the way from like way down low in the body. And then, like I said, the sun and Mars are going to be moving out of Scorpio and into Sag, where Mercury already is. So this is starting to move it from that breathing energy that goes with the circulation through the nose, then all the way down to the actual organs, the reproductive organs, and then starts to come into the hips and thighs and into the lower chakras of consciousness, where you're dealing with fears, anxieties, lust, promiscuity. And when I say lust, I mean like, I need to see this happen in my life now, not necessarily sexual lust. That's why I said promiscuity. So this is the desire, that ego desire. The only way I can see a better life is for this to happen, and I need this now. And the frustration of that and the fear of not getting that, coming into that energy that's circulating in a negative way. This is overcoming the program. Being able to be aware of it, shut it down. Reclaim your power, recalibrate. Because that's what this is ultimately coming down to. Recalibrating before that full moon, when everything is brought to light. And how will you act? And what is that going to change? How are you going to communicate with yourself in this energy? Now, this week does have more positive energy than last week, but not much more. Last week had very, very little positive energy. I mean, like you had to fight to find it. This week it is here, but it's not that much more positive. those challenges are very difficult at this time. But I will start off with, you've had for about 3 months now, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto that have been talking about breaking that pattern, birthing and breathing literally into the outer world what you are capable of magically creating within your ability to tap into the now and create of your own reality, versus allowing the outer world to create the world you have to live in. That has been going on for almost 3 months, but it's now speaking to the sun, as the sun is coming out of Scorpio and going into Sag this week. So that's going from that outer world, the authority of the outer world, where you're being able to create the power of that for you and do something with it, bringing it back to that stepping out on your own a little bit more. See, while it was in the 8th house, we're still here in that rules, walls, and boundaries, redirecting tribe energy, relationship energy. Is it rebirthable? Is it healthy? According to the rules, laws, and boundaries of transformation. But it's coming out of that and illuminating your morals, illuminating your psychic ability, your psychic activity. But you've got Mercury here. We got Mercury here and Mars coming in here. Mercury's not in its strongest place here in Sag. And while Sag is known to be the higher perspective, it is also connected with the lower consciousness and chakras. So this is where we're talking about really connecting with, are you connecting with the higher energy, or are you connecting with that fear, anxiety, jealousy, lust? What's driving you here? And literally, what's driving? What has the wheel on the emotional level? Are you connecting with the spiritual and psychic energy, the intuitive energy, the higher branches of consciousness, the galactic center of Sag? Or are you connecting with breathing in fear, doubt, anxiety, inferiority, all of these lower levels of consciousness that are coming straight from the hips and the thighs of Sag? This is where we store a lot of our ego anger and our frustration as we are trying to move forward, what we don't understand and what we can't see a way out of, and what is taking the wheel. Like I said, you have that Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto speaking directly with the sun as sun comes out of Scorpio and goes into that 9th house. Make sure you're connecting with the higher energies, with your morals and psychic development, not with this 3D financial crap and 3D game of keeping you lower and connected to things that truly are just keeping you connected to the hive mind. That's what you need to be in. This is why I said take some of that precious time for yourself and use it in ways that are helping you in whatever you can. You have Mercury and Venus, which we're talking last week, and they're still talking this week in a very positive way. It is a sextile, so it is giving you an opportunity. But like I said, Mercury here is connected to the lower conversation of that lust and that fear and overcoming it, and desire and need, like now, versus truly connecting with the higher self and knowing you already are of that energy. Ego. Then it gets into Venus, where it's in Virgo, which is your 6th house and earth energy, and really trying to ground in your people, places, and things, your mundane tasks. This is shifting something in the mundane, something in your everyday activity. Noticing parts of your everyday activity in which forsake you because it's just a bad habit. This is a very hard area to overcome, but it is your job, it is your careers, it's your going to work, it's your daily routine. And where is your daily routine not truly in service to the higher vibration and what you are really wanting to see in your life versus the fear, the anxiety, the need, the now, which is really just going to push it away further away when you know how law of attraction works. Then you get into some trines. You have Uranus, which is getting along great with Lilith, which is also in the sixth house. I'm sorry, Uranus and Lilith. And this is talking about the ego fire versus, and I say it that way because Lilith asks you, what are you here for? What's your fire for? But she can kind of trip overboard and go into ego if you let her. And it can be very much an ally, reminding you that you're not just here to be part of service. You are here to be part of service, but you're also here to enjoy this existence, not for it to be misery. For you to enjoy the existence, enjoy the lessons, enjoy the learning. Where is your fire? Where is your soul spark? And that's in that sixth house of your communication here. And it is speaking directly with Uranus in your independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, stepping into the power of having the possession of yourself. And this is definitely reminding you to do what you want, what you love. Don't be manipulated into doing all this other for a job or something that really doesn't have two shits of a care about you. This is your life. You have to reclaim it and care about yourself. That's integrity. Coming back into integrity. Then you have the North Node and Chiron in that first house, speaking with Mercury in the ninth, which is definitely good energy here too, as long as you're tapped into that higher energy, into the higher consciousness, into higher morals, and higher wanting to learn of knowledge of that spiritual connection. And you're not tapping into that desire of now, 3D freak out, promiscuity, and everything that's just clouding and hiding the situation. You have that North Node and Chiron, the wounded healer, and everything you need to learn coming into your character, everything into your character, your identity, as well as the ego, of the way that you're seen, the way that you view the world, what you do with what you are here, with yourself while you're here, the way that you see yourself, the way the world sees you, the way you identify with everything. And it is speaking directly with that ninth house, Mercury, communication. If you're identifying with the world outside of you in a lower vibration with fear and anxiety and despair and need, then that's connecting with the character of who and what you are, which is connecting with your manifestation and your vibrational frequency. This is what I mean by the lower chakras versus connecting with the higher Sagittarius energy, that galactic center energy, and really starting to work towards clearing out that solar plexus and helping that boom clean out all chakras. Kind of like sending just a pulse through the body of cleaning. And where you're starting to bring back that integrity and breathe it into you. Then you have Neptune, which basically is almost at where it's just not moving anymore. So it's kind of like magic turned off. 12th house. We're just going to sit here with our eyes closed with grief, sorrow, shame, blame, denial, illusion, delusion. Fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh ass reality. Kind of just in standstill. And it is speaking with the sun, very moving, very slow, about who and what you're trying to be versus who you truly are, and owning it, the character. In that ninth house, stepping into your soul connection. Is it ego bound or is it soul bound? Where are you taking that power or not taking that power? Now, when we come into the challenges, all week you have Saturn and Lilith, which are not getting along, but they are trying, and after the first 2 days, they are going to form a T-square with the sun. That is your character, but it is in that ninth house, in that higher energy or lower energy. The communication here, and Mars is going to be coming in, crossing right through this. Saturn's 12th house, not moving, still at 0 degrees at the beginning of Capricorn. Very slow moving, like rules, walls, and boundaries are turned off. It's a free-for-all out there. Grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities. I don't have to see what I don't want to see. Speaking directly with Lilith, that's 6th house. And your mundane tasks, people, places, and things. The mundane is the most powerful place for your manifestation. Then connecting directly with who you are soulfully, vibrationally at this time. Higher morals, lower morals. And this is all about rules, walls, and boundaries. Can you set them when boundaries, light has been shut off? More or less. Can you be the power that's driving you? Or will you follow suit with the energy that's going on around you? And this is saying, make the change, pivot, break the pattern. This is where we're talking about. And the sun is your character, how you identify from the higher consciousness or the lower consciousness. Really, that's where we're getting at this time. This is, in a way, prophecy energy. What will you do with it? Will you prophesize a new healthy existence by overcoming it? Or are you going to prophesize the same bullshit? It's very powerful energy. Like I said, and we're getting ready to come into a full moon, up close and personal, with everything that matters to you, because it's going to be in Gemini. It's all about your communication with yourself and the outer world right now. You have another T-square that's trying to form, and it starts off with Chiron speaking with Pluto, then going over to the south node, then coming back over to the north node. And this is the 1st house, the 10th house, and the 7th house. So this is, again, relationship grief, rules, walls, and boundaries of what the outer world has power over. What have you allowed the outer world to have power over? It is your honor, your reputation, your prestige. It is your work, your career, the outer authority, the political arena. And do you have power in this outer world? Coming from where you once did not, where you once followed suit. Chiron, the wounded healer, teaching you, North Node, teaching you how to see things through the right perspective of where it was done wrong the first time. Going all the way over and showing you where you continue to do the same wrong things. Will you learn? Because it's trying to make a T-square. It's showing where this is just like a endless circle. Can you notice the facts of where that endless circle continues and break it in your life? Then you have Saturn again, like I said, kind of like the lights are turned off, not very much moving in that 12th house, speaking directly with the sun, which is part of that. I'm sorry, that was part of the T-square in the first place. Then you had the North Node and Chiron, which are also speaking directly with Venus and the South Node in Libra. This is Chiron, the wounded healer, in your personal character, addressing what needs to be changed about the character, where you have bad programming, where you're still connected to the programming of a lower vibration, and how we can shift it and identify it by viewing it mirroring in your relationships with some of that sensitivity. It's Venus. Venus is going to show you where something hurts and where something feels great. Venus is not love. Venus tells you about what makes you feel good and why it feels good and why it's satisfying and why you want more of it versus why it harmed you, why it hurt you, and why you don't want to be connected to that anymore. Venus is your sensitivity, and she's also the physical body and what it will physically do to you if you continue to pick forms or energies that do harm you repetitively. And this is in the relationship house. Is this your tribe or not? Are you even on your tribe at this time? Are you fulfilling being a tribe member that you would want? This is about deep, deep work that we're doing. So much more than we've ever seen. We're in so much more of new ego deaths and revitalizing our spirit. But this is raw. We're raw. We're getting into the real work. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Bye.